Have you ever covered a carpet stain with a rug, ignored a leaky faucet, pretended your half-painted living room is supposed to look like that? Well, you're not alone. We've all got unfinished home projects. But there's an easier way. Thumbtack is the app that makes it easier to care for your home. Pull out your phone and in just a few taps, search, chat, and book highly rated pros right in your neighborhood. Download Thumbtack and start caring for your home the easier way.
They say opposites attract. That's why the Sleep Number Smart Bed is the best bed for couples. You can each choose what's right for you, whenever you like. You like a bed that feels firm, but they want soft? Sleep Number does that. You want to sleep cooler, while they like to feel warm. Sleep Number does that too. Sleep Number Smart Beds also learn how you sleep and provide you with personalized insights to help you sleep even better. You have to feel it to believe it. Find the bed that's for both of you, only at a Sleep Number store. 9 out of 10 couples say they sleep better on a Sleep Number Smart Bed. Time to catch some Z's. J.D. Power ranks Sleep Number number 1 in customer satisfaction with mattresses purchased in-store. And now during Sleep Number's biggest sale of the year, save 50% on the Sleep Number Limited Edition Smart Bed, plus special financing for a limited time. For J.D. Power 2023 award information, visit jdpower.com/awards. Only at a Sleep Number store or sleepnumber.com. See store for details.
From the All Indiana Podcast Network, this is Real Talk, No Strings Attached. The podcast brought to you by the youth of Indianapolis, using this platform and their voice to touch on vital topics they believe impact their communities. Here's the Real Talk team for some real talk, no strings attached.
Are you ready? Because here we go.
So, Tremaine, tell me how you feeling today.
Today I feel good. I'm a little tired, but that's just about it. Can't complain.
Why you tired? What you do?
Well, I have these photography classes that I take every Saturday.
Oh, yeah, you were the one that's wanting to start your own photography company.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, we was just out shooting yesterday, and it's I was having a blast and whatever, but then it's they invited me to go take some shoots for this event they're having the next Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
So that means my entire week is going to be packed, which kind of stressed me out a little bit, not going to lie. But I'm like, okay, how am I going to tackle this? Like Monday's really going to be my only free day I'm going to have. And that's on top of schoolwork as well.
Right.
So, I'm just thinking about it this morning. I'm like, well, this is going to be the only really busy week you're going to have. So just try to take it day by day.
You feel like it's going to affect your mental health at all?
Probably. I feel like the worst part about it isn't really going to be the events I'm doing, but more so how I'm going to get there. Because sadly I ain't got no car yet.
Right.
So I ain't moving on my own time.
Yeah.
And Wednesday my mama's birthday, so it's am I going to do what's career driven, or am I going to go spend time with my moms?
Do both.
And I'm going to try to. It's just
it's going to be hard.
Yeah, it's just time.
And it's going to be on Valentine's Day, too.
Yeah.
That's
which is also with my girl. So it's dang, my mom's my girl.
So you got to work, your mom's birthday, and
Valentine's Day.
Accommodate your girl for Valentine's Day. Yeah, good luck with that.
Your week sound very stressful.
How about y'all?
Well, for me, I know I'm not gonna have that too busy of a week. I don't even know if I got Valentine's Day plans. I'm not gonna lie to y'all, because I got a Valentine, but I don't know if we're gonna do anything or whatever. But I feel like this week is gonna be a chill week. What about you, Anel?
Actually, I think mine's a little stressful, but it's not that bad, because I had to babysit the day before Valentine's Day, but it's chill, because the babysitters, their kids just sleep, so I just walk into their house and watch their baby monitor and get $60, so it's great. But and then we have Real Talk on Wednesday. Wednesday, which I'm excited for. But otherwise than that, actually it's not that bad, but those 2 days. But my week's going good in my day, so yeah. Also, your Valentine better make some plans, because girl.
And it's not your job to worry about the plans.
Yeah, it's really not.
It's not. Come on.
They asked you, you asked them.
He asked me.
Then you should be
and
making a plan.
exactly, that's what I'm saying. And I'm really not about to do like
That's crazy.
I'm not about to stress.
Asking your girlfriend for Valentine's Day plans is wild. I'm sorry.
No, he didn't ask me. I was just thinking about it just now.
Oh.
And I was like,
Oh, so you don't know if y'all got plans or not.
yes, yeah.
Oh, so you waiting for him to step up.
Basically.
Got you.
Yeah, good luck with that. So how do y'all feel about mental health?
Well, I think sometimes it can be a topic that's kind of has a bad connotation with it because a lot of people don't like to talk about their mental health and they feel like it makes them look weak or less tough, I guess. So they feel like they have to hide their emotions.
Do you feel like that's because they don't have too many people they could trust to talk to?
That also could be a thing because I know a lot of people, and for me personally, sometimes when I open up about my mental health or about stuff that I'm going through, like people turn around and use it against me when they get mad or whatever. So I'm like, okay, now I know I'm never going to talk to you about that again.
Right. Because now you made it to where I can't even trust you to tell you stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you, Anil?
I also agree with like people don't want to talk about it just because I think it's like a generational thing where people are like, oh, mental health, like that's not a thing. You can't talk about your feelings. There is no feelings here.
Right.
And I think we're actually like one of the first generations that's like acknowledged the fact like, okay, you guys are the way that you are because you never like acknowledged how you feel. Not that way it's taken like two ways, like it can be good and bad, but I feel like some people are the way that they are because they've never like come to terms with their emotions and they've had kids and like had relationships and they've affected them through it, and it's like a generational thing that nobody's like ever broken. So like I think that we're doing that. It's like new for a lot of people and a lot of people are uncomfortable with it. So yeah, but I think figuring it out and like talking about it is really good.
How you feel?
I feel like we as a people aren't really like prepared to talk about mental health because like it's never been like a big topic that we've had until like our generation. So like trying to have that conversation now is also trying to teach the older generation what is mentally healthy and what isn't.
Right.
While also trying to figure out like how to like get past day by day. And like talking to like or having people to talk to about certain problems and like they judge you for it, like that quick judgment is just like I ain't gonna talk to you no more.
Right.
Or they always say like, oh, you're too young, you don't understand this and this and
well,
that.
help me understand.
But they never really give that help. They just tell you to just forget about it or leave it alone.
I could say for me, I'll be 35 years old this year, and mental health wasn't a big thing growing up for me. It's because I was always taught to hide how I'm feeling. Even if I felt a certain way as a kid, going against what my parents would say, it was more so, well, you don't have no say-so. You know what I mean?
Stay in a child's place.
You stay in a child's place. But as I got older and I started, like even with me, with my 12-year-old son, I tell him even now, you have a voice. Now, it's up to you to understand and figure out how to use it without being disrespectful or disobedient. You do have a voice. You just got to know how to use it and use it at the right time. So mental health for me wasn't a big thing growing up because I was always argumentative. Like my teachers, if you find some of my teachers from school, they'll tell you Michael was argumentative. Because if you telling me something that I know that's not right or I feel like it's not right, I'm going to argue you down all the way.
And I feel like a lot of teachers, or adults, they don't feel like explaining why kids. And I know for me personally, I always want to know the why behind what you're telling me to do. Like, why should I do that? Or why is that the answer? And if they don't have a why, then I'm not going to want to do it.
That's my son.
And then when the answer is because I said so, then it doesn't help me learn or grow at all. And it's just not helpful.
It sounds like you can't give me a reason.
Yeah.
Right. If you can't give me a reason, just say that.
Yeah. Or if you don't want to give me a reason, just say that too.
Yeah.
I get it.
But I feel like the answer to kids' questions should not be because I said so or because that's just how it is.
Right.
There should be a reasoning behind it. If you're going to tell me to do something, then and I don't want to, I'm going to want to know why.
Do you feel like it's more important now with you guys generation knowing about mental health with everything that's going on now, like in the city, in the world?
Yeah.
Is that why it's so important to know the why?
Yeah.
I feel like that's a big part of it because there is so much going on, especially in our generation, like so many laws being passed that I never thought would be passed, so many different rules being created out of nowhere. And I feel like, why? What's the reasoning?
Yeah. What about you? How you feel about that?
Well, I'm a very stubborn person, so it's like, if you can't explain to me why I should follow or do what you say in like a respectful tone or like in a way that makes me feel like I'm not just like a kid, then I'm not going to want to listen to you.
Right.
Because I'm going to be 18 in a couple of days, which means legally, in the eyes of the law, I'm going to be an adult.
Right.
So I would like to hold myself and want other people to hold me as such.
Yeah.
So it's like, I understand I'm not going to understand everything that you're talking about, but you don't have to talk to me as if I'm a child.
Is that something you, without getting too personal, is that something you went through with your parents?
Yeah.
Like wanting to voice your opinion, but them like kind of
getting shut
it down? Yeah. How did you cope with that, or what did you do? Or did they finally come around to understand?
I don't think she understands yet. If I'm being honest, I think we're still trying to like work this way around of me trying to be heard from her and figuring out like, okay, how do we talk or communicate to each other? Because I don't really tell her a lot of my problems.
Right.
So when I do have a problem, I choose to be quiet because I know if I say something, it's probably going to lead to an argument.
Yeah.
And like I mainly like talk to my sister about my things because she's like in her 30s.
Right.
But like because she's not like my mother, we can have this conversation to where it's like you see me as what I want to be seen.
Yeah, and it's a different perspective.
Yeah.
So it's not like, because sometimes our parents hold themselves to, I'm authority.
Yeah.
You're just a kid.
Yeah. And I understand.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I understand like you gave like birth to me, so you have some type of like being over me. And like you came like 18 years with me and my problems. So I understand that aspect of it, but it's also I have a voice. I'm my own person as well. And like certain things in life that I see and that you view are just clashing.
Yeah. What about you, Anil?
I agree. I think with age, my parents got a little better with that. And I'm saying that, like, when I was younger, and I get when I was younger and I would, like, ask for something and they'd be like, no. And I'd be like, why? And they'd be like, because I said so. And, like, when I got older, I realized why, because, like, they were probably right. But I think as I got older, they became more accepting of it and more open. At least my mom. My dad's kind of the type of like, oh, don't feed into your generation where they talk about emotions. So I think I'm still trying to like.
Why do you think he said that?
I think it's because of the way he was raised. I don't know. I still try to like make him like realize that it's okay to have emotions, but he's very stubborn. But it's fine. It's just. It's a slow process, but my mom's more accepting of it just because she's had situations in her life where she's overcome and she's like understands it from her kid's point of view. So like, for example, the other day I was like, can I please have a day off of school? I just needed a day off because it's been a lot. Like I do sports, I do school, and I have like a job after school and stuff like that. And stuff with McCoy, so I was just like, I need a day off. And my mom was like, yeah, that's fine. And I also just needed a day to get like work done and stuff like that. So I woke up the next morning and my dad was still there. And he was like, oh, you took the day off of school? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, why? And I was like, because I just wanted to have a day off. And he was like, that's not the answer I'm looking for. And I was like, what answer are you looking for? It's as simple as that.
I need a day off.
I don't know what you want me to say.
Yeah, literally. That's exactly what I said. And I was like, he's like, tell me what I want to hear. And I was like, I don't know what you want to hear, Jason. I really don't. But I just needed a day off. And eventually he was just like, fine. But with that type of thing, like, I don't know if he even believes in mental health days, which, by the way, it's been like 6 weeks of school. And this is my first day I've ever taken off. So, like, I don't think it's that bad. It's not like I miss every day, I promise. But so I just took a day off. But every time I take a day off, he always asks why, and it just makes me mad. And I know I shouldn't, and I know I should have like patience with my parents and stuff like that, just because they are my parents and stuff. But sometimes I'm just like, okay, I work really hard in school and stuff like that, and I have good grades. Like,
you deserve a day.
Yeah, I was like, please just leave me alone. Like, I really want to go take a nap. But every time I have a day off, or just like a day where I'm just like resting, I don't know if he thinks like taking a rest day equals you being lazy or something.
Yeah.
But it doesn't, and I'm trying to like make him understand that as I get older, but I don't know if it's working. But yeah.
What about you, Nadia?
Well, with my moms, I never had not really, but they did say, I never really had any issues with them, like, talking about my mental health or anything. But they did always say whenever I asked why, sometimes because I said so. But like Anel said, as I got older, they are more accepting with explaining my, like, why I can't do something or why I can't have something. I just really have to ask them, I guess. But with my dad, sorry, I don't feel like I can talk to my dad about anything at all. Like, I don't feel like I can talk to him about my problems or anything, because he just doesn't make me feel comfortable enough to do so. And whenever I'm with my dad, I have to have like this false persona, and I really hate that. That's why I try to be around my dad as little as possible. But also he has a new baby, so I kind of feel like I have to be over there more, I guess. And I get that he's trying and like he's putting in so much effort, but then I think back to like all the years where he didn't, and where I didn't really feel like, I guess, accepted in his house. I don't know.
What about you, Jermaine?
I don't know. I guess when it comes to like family drama, there's a lot of stress that comes with that. Like, me and my mom, we get into it every now and then and again over something that starts off as small, but then just keeps snowballing until it gets out of control. And I think what's like weird about that is like, this is really like the first time I'm talking about these issues with my mother, mostly because I feel like I don't have really like a space where I can like really talk about this. So like, for me, saying this now to get off my chest means a lot. And I think that goes to show just how like we need this talk about mental health.
I have a question for you guys. Okay, so like when you guys talk to your parents and they're not like very accepting of your emotions and they like kind of like diss you off, do you think it's because of their past experiences? And then another question to follow up with that, if you ever choose to have like a family or whatever, do you want to be different in the sense of like, would you want to break the cycle? Which, yeah.
I know for me personally, I think it is all about how they were raised. Like, I know my mom was raised a certain way and my dad was also raised a certain way. So that's why I feel like I can't really be upset with my dad for not having a great relationship with his kids, because he did not have a great relationship with his father. So I know it's kind of hard to be a great father figure when you don't have an example of that in your life. But I also, for the second half of your question, yes, I do want to raise my children differently, and I don't want to necessarily be a soft parent, but I don't want to be getting into like all sort of arguments with my kids. I don't want to be so strict with my kids that they don't feel like they can come to me about their problems or anything, or that they feel like they can't do anything in their house and they're just like stuck in the house 24/7. I don't want my kids to feel like that. So yeah, that's what I have to say.
I think when it comes to like, I think my mom was raised differently. So like that has had an effect on her, and she's been through like a lot of stuff as well in her life, which has made her like fearful of like the stuff around her. So she kept most of her kids like in the house. And like if I'm raising my own kids, I think I want them to be outside a lot and like explore the world while you're still young, because like once you get older, that's gonna be hard to do for free. And I also like want to have like, I wouldn't say like tiers, but like levels to like, if you show me how mature you can be, I'm gonna give you more and more respect.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna stop like seeing you as a kid, because I hated being seen as a kid.
Yeah.
What about you? So you can answer your own question.
Oh, yeah, okay. I think definitely because, like, my dad, I love him and everything. He's a great dad, don't get me wrong. But, like, there's just some points where I'm like, and, like, everybody's human. Like, he was a kid once, too, and this is his first time living. But, like, I think it's also because his parents didn't really have parents. Like, my grandpa's dad's wife, like, died when he was, like, 12. So then he kind of had to raise himself because his dad then became, like, an alcoholic and like gambled a lot. And then my mom, like his mom or whatever, like I don't know, she just was a single mom. So it's like a whole generational thing that I think affected the family tree, and stuff like that. So I think that's a big factor, and just like stuff from his childhood too. He doesn't really talk about it. But yeah, and then for me, if I ever choose to have kids and stuff like that, I think I would definitely want to break it. I'm just scared that like I would have kids and then I'm gonna catch myself like repeating the cycle.
Yeah.
So I'm terrified of that. But otherwise not. Yeah. What about you, Trey?
Yeah, I think as a parent, you're supposed to be somewhat like realistic, or like I don't really know how to say it. Like, I don't want to say hard on your kid, because I mean I guess you could be, but like in a love type way.
Tough love.
Like tough love. Because like if I'm ever a parent, I don't want to be too tough on my kid, and they all of a sudden don't want to respect me, and they can't trust me. To the point where I just lost the relationship with my own child.
Right.
So it's kind of not what you want as a parent. But I feel like parents, like my parents, me and my parents, we always talk about my mental health and the mental health of my two younger brothers, because if we don't talk about it, it's never gonna get talked about.
Yeah.
Outside of like a therapist or something.
Yeah.
So if parents don't talk about their kids' mental health with their kids, just have a sit down, parent to son, parent to daughter conversation about their mental health, it's just never gonna get done, and you don't know what they're going through.
Yeah.
Sometimes those conversations have to be done, have to be said.
I agree with that wholeheartedly, because I feel like if you're not at least trying to understand what your kid is going through, then what are you doing? Because I know everybody struggles with their mental health at some point in their lives, no matter how much they try to pretend they don't, or no matter how little they try to feel. Everybody struggles with something at some point in their lives, because nobody's life goes perfectly in a straight line. There's ups and downs, and I feel like parents have to understand that their kids go through stuff too. And I hate when parents say, you don't know what it feels like to struggle, you don't have any bills to pay, you don't have to do this and that. Because even though I'm not paying bills, I'm not having to worry about putting food on the table, there's still things in my life that I'm going through. And my parents have never said that, just to clarify. But I've heard a lot of people's parents say that. Or when parents say, I put a roof over your head. I gave you food to eat and water to drink. What do you have to be sad for?
Heavy on that one. Heavy.
Yeah, and just to piggyback off of that, like when you said people don't like kids, a lot of kids don't have to struggle for anything. They are right, because some kids don't have to struggle for anything. It's called being born with a silver spoon in your mouth. But not everybody was born with a silver spoon in their mouth. And even the ones that were, they still struggle with something, whether it's school or mental health of their own or something. Like, so I feel like everybody older than probably the age of 6 is dealing with something tough. And the only reason why I say above the age of 6 is because anything below 6 is kind of, your parents are kind of still doing everything for you because you're still kind of growing up. But when you like get to age 6 and you start school, you got homework, you got a lot of stuff you want to do, plus you still got to be a kid. So you're trying to balance all that stuff. You're trying to balance all your like sports and school and stuff in your mental health while still trying to be a kid. So that stuff's tough too. So everyone is like going through something.
Yeah, I feel like even if you do have a lot of money or you have everything that you've ever wanted, items and money do not fulfill happiness. Like, if I've been wanting a puppy for my whole life and I get a puppy, I feel like that's not gonna fill the crater, I guess.
The expectation that you would have.
Because maybe you think that you want a puppy because you think that'll give you something to take care of, and then that'll take your mind off of your mental health. And then what if something happens to that puppy? Or what if the puppy doesn't do everything that you wanted it to or that you expected of it?
Sort of like a Band-Aid.
Yeah, it's like a temporary solution.
Temporary solution without the long-term solution.
Yeah.
All right. So I want to ask a question though. Like, how does gender affect, mental health regarding to who you talk to, and, if it's more effective if it's male to male or male to female? Like, how is it? How do y'all think it's?
Well, sorry. I have one thing to say, about it doesn't really relate to the question, but it kind of does. I just wanted to touch on, the toxic masculinity that regards mental health, because I feel like a lot of men, they were raised in a way that is no, you cannot feel anything. And if you do feel something, don't tell anybody that you feel this way, because you can't show your emotions. And especially as black men, it's just so difficult, because I know as a female, I know that we like to be able to communicate with a man, and we don't like when men just shut down. And
especially in relationships.
Yeah. That's what I'm really talking about.
Yeah.
And even in friendships, if you don't feel like you can come to me with your feelings, and I've come to you with my feelings, and you don't do the same, I feel like you don't really trust me. And I don't know, but as far as the question that you actually asked, I feel like it's more effective to talk to somebody who can kind of relate to me. My very first therapist was this very old white lady, and I was kind of very uncomfortable talking to her, because I was I don't really know what to talk to you about. And then basically the first time in therapy, my mom kind of explained to the therapist why I was there, and I didn't really want her to do that. But then she tried to give me a book about my trauma and how to grow and build from it. I was yeah, I'm not reading this. And then I told my mom I don't want to ever talk to her again. So I got a new therapist, and then she was a queer black woman, so I felt like I could relate to her more. And she was closer to my age also. So for me, it's so much easier to talk to somebody who looks like me and can understand some of the struggles that I go through on a daily basis.
Yeah, to piggyback over what you said, I feel like to me, because my current counselor is a younger white lady. So to me, I don't think, like, when it comes to like which therapist, like which counselor would you prefer, I don't feel like, to me at least, it really matters, because I can have a male therapist or a male counselor, but they don't know what they're doing, or they're not good at what they're doing compared to what a white female counselor could do, especially like a black counselor. Because again, I could have a black male counselor, but they still not be able to know what they're doing compared to a black female counselor or a white male counselor. If you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know what you
So
mean.
I feel like to me at least, it doesn't really matter, because you have to know what you're doing. Like,
Yeah.
you have to know what you're doing.
To be fair, I think if I found a great therapist that was a white man, I would probably follow through with that therapist. But I'm just speaking off of my personal experience. I think it's just based off of who you're talking to.
Right.
And the gender isn't really important, or the race. But I know a lot of people, they just don't want to go to therapy unless their therapist looks like them, because they're not comfortable, and they may have had previous therapists who have made them feel like less than, or like they didn't know that what they were talking about, or even kind of crazy, because they're like, oh, that doesn't happen. That's not. But
Right.
it's just about the type of person or the type of therapist that it is. Because the most recent therapist I had, she was like the closest to my age, but I also kind of felt like she didn't really know what she was doing, because whatever she was doing was not helping me. Like, I was like, okay, yeah, we're talking. We just spent an hour talking about something that does not matter. And I'm like, and then when I had an in-person session with her, that was the only, because we only had Zoom sessions, that was the only effective session. And that was probably because my mom was there. Because she actually like was able to, when my mom is there, it's like, that's the only time I really feel safe talking about like what I went through and everything. And other times I'm just like, okay, yeah, I don't want to talk about that. Next topic, please. But maybe my mom should be my therapist. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna, ask. Like, I hear you all talking about, like counselors and like licensed therapists, but does it matter if it's licensed, or does it matter if the titles, like, does the titles matter? Like, can it just be anybody, like fathers, mothers, friends?
If it's a good person to talk to, then like I have this one really good friend who I feel like I can pour like my whole heart out to him, and he'll listen, and he can do the same to me, and we help each other in that way, and that's our friendship dynamic.
Right.
And then I have other friends where we can't talk about anything really. I'm like, yeah, I don't trust you with that, so I'm not going to tell you that, because of like my past experiences. Like in 7th grade, oh my God. In 7th grade, I like trusted somebody with like details and everything about what I went through. And then they went and told like 3 people that were my friends from elementary school, which was kind of crazy, because I was like, how are you going to tell people that I know from elementary school about what I went through when I told you to keep it confidential in between us? And that's like kind of where most of my trust issues like stem from with my business and everything, because I don't want the world to know everything. Like, and that, it upsets me so bad just thinking about it, because I trusted that person with like everything, and they told so many people.
Yeah, and I feel like, to me, I mean, a therapist is supposed to be licensed. That's how you know they're the most trustworthy. But there are some licensed therapists out there that are just there to collect a paycheck, or just there to say, I help this person. It doesn't matter how I help this person, I help this person. So there's some therapists out there that don't really care about actually helping you get through something. Again, they're just there to collect a paycheck. There are people, I know a lot of people that I can go to, I can tell them what I'm going through, and they will keep those stuff safe between me and them.
Yeah.
And I feel like to a lot of people, that might be better than a therapist. Now, there are some people out there that don't trust anybody, whether it's a therapist or people around them, or even their parents for that matter. So, us as a society, we have to go to those people. Like, we have to. I'm not talking about just like walk up to these people. I'm talking about we have to somehow connect with these people, and we have to remind them that there are people out here that not only care about you, that they love you, and that they want to help you get better. Because some people just don't trust anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm hearing a lot of trust, and I'm just thinking like that goes a long way. Not even with like therapists or mental health. Like trust goes a long way.
Period. Yeah.
Just with allowing somebody to, or allowing yourself to be vulnerable with somebody, allowing yourself to allowing yourself to talk and be vulnerable, and allow you to like talk to them to literally about anything. Like you said, like you have a friend that you can literally pour your heart out to, and it's like that person is not going to tell anybody, and it's just like there were some people, definitely me, there's always limits to that, because it's just like I can trust you to a certain limit, and it's like I don't know you enough to tell you this, so it's like I don't want to tell you this, but I might as well, because what's the worst that can happen? You tell somebody else, and it just goes all around. So
I feel like that's so scary though, because for me, being vulnerable, it makes me feel like gross. I don't know, but like when I'm vulnerable with somebody, I'm just automatically scared that they're gonna go like tell everybody like, oh, Nadia said this, she was like, oh, and I'm like, I don't want that to happen. So I like to sometimes keep that all to myself, or I'll tell my mom, because I know my mom's not gonna tell anybody. Like, and that's another reason why I'm not comfortable telling my dad things, is because he'll tell my grandma, and my grandma is like the biggest gossip in the whole family. So then my cousin twice removed knows. And I'm like, I didn't want everybody to know that, so why does everybody know? And then at the family gathering, it's so weird and so awkward. And I know recently, not really recently, it was last year, and like it was a little bit early last year in the summer. My dad's girlfriend had her baby shower, so I went, and there was so much of my dad's family there, obviously, and I was just so uncomfortable with all of them being there, because I did not know all of them were going to be there. And then at my birthday party, some of my dad's family showed up too, and I was like, I only invited my dad and my grandma, but I don't know why y'all are here. But it ended up being fine, because I didn't really talk to them anyway. But I just feel like you have to respect people's boundaries. And that's a huge thing that people do not do. They don't. You set boundaries for yourself, and then they keep stepping all over you and keep walking over your boundaries and disrespecting you in like your own space too. And I'm just like, what am I supposed to do in this situation? Because oh my gosh. And then thinking about it now, I had like a really close friend, like from 7th grade, and we were best friends, and I literally just had to stop being friends with them because they could not respect me like in my own space. They couldn't respect my boundaries, and I feel like they didn't even really care about me as a person ever, because whenever I would talk about me or whatever, they just brought it back to their relationship or whatever. And I feel like that's really selfish. And then when I was trying to talk to them about it, like I wrote a whole paragraph, and they were like, oh, I'm not going to argue with you about this. And I was like, I'm not even trying to argue. I was just trying to tell you how I felt. But yeah.
Yeah, I feel what you're saying. Piggybacking off of that, I heard what you talked about with limits and boundaries. And I want to ask, going back to like men's mental health, because in my preference, when it comes to men's mental health, we, and I'm going to speak in a general sense, I feel like we as men don't look for a response, especially when I go into a barbershop, right? And I'm close with around everybody in that barbershop. I go in there and I just start talking, whether it's just about mental health, whether it's about my week, because I get my hair cut literally probably at the end of the week, about every week. But I usually talk about something, and it just somehow evolves into something regarding something serious regarding mental health. And I don't necessarily, we all in that barbershop, we mutually don't look for a response out of each other. We look for something to carry the conversation. So I want to ask, like, why do you think men's, like, when out of the barbershop or out of that place where we feel comfortable to talk about what's going on in our head, why do we think we hold, like, kind of like this boundary on our own minds, like, well, I'm not going to talk to this female even though, like, she's my girl or she's my wife, or why do we think we hold that boundary on us?
I feel like it goes back to the sense of, like, masculinity, in the sense of, like, oh, you have to be tough to represent yourself. I'm not sure, because again, I am a girl, so I don't know, but I feel like it has to connect with that a little bit. But I totally get what you're saying, because, like, if I got to the topic of mental health with somebody, not that I wouldn't want to talk about it, but I would just want to keep it going, just because, like, I don't want to just focus on me. And then, because, like, if I talked about something and it becomes, like, this super awkward silence type of thing, I'd be like, okay, like, this is why I didn't talk about it.
Right.
But, so I think I would want to keep it going, too. So I get that.
Yeah, and I feel like to piggyback off of what you said about the toxic masculinity, that's huge in, like, the black community, because we're supposed to be viewed as mentally and physically stronger than everybody else. That's how everybody, going all the way back to slavery and segregation, like, that's how everybody viewed the black man, as stronger physically and mentally than everybody else. So the moment that we start to show our emotions and our true selves, they view us as not masculine at all, and they almost start to, I almost want to say they want to take away our masculine, like, how masculine we truly are, because we're showing our emotions.
Yeah.
And that's why especially black men in general, are so scared to show their emotions to the whole world, because they don't want other people to say, oh well, you're not really masculine because you're showing your emotions. You're supposed to be mentally stronger than everybody else. So I feel like that's why, and that's also why the suicide rate amongst men, especially black men, is where it is.
Yeah.
I think it's black men from 8 to 14. Like, the suicide rate has increased.
Yeah.
And it's
like,
getting younger, too.
Far beyond, like, their other counterparts, like other races. And we used to be like, black men used to be like way far behind, and now it's skyrocketing, and it's very sad to see that.
And
Sorry to interrupt you.
No, and I just actually, to piggyback off what you guys just said, our school community actually just lost a former student. He went to Cathedral his freshman year, but he transferred to North Central his freshman year. I'll just get to the point. He actually killed himself earlier this past week because of mental health. We don't know what was going on, but we just know that he took his own life. He was like 16 years old, but that's just the further being on the point that, like, mental health in black men is serious, is trickling down to the youth. But because we're young, we don't really know how to control what we do. So older black men can kind of, like, seek what the problem is and seek help. Younger black men, one, are just stuck. So like we just think to the most rational thing at the time, which for some people that is suicide.
I kind of disagree with that, to be honest, because I feel like the younger you are, the more prone you are to changing and the more prone you are to getting help. But if you go your whole life without getting any sort of help, then your mental health is going to be worse, and you're going to be more resilient to getting help or to talking about what you're going through. Because if you haven't talked about it your whole life, why would you talk about it when you're like 30?
Right. That life is just in you now. It's just who you are.
Yeah.
And also to answer what Jeremiah asked earlier. I'm not a man. I'm just speculating here, but I feel like some men are more comfortable talking to other men because they can probably relate and they know, like, they're like, oh yeah, I understand what you're going through. But like a woman and a man do not go through the same problems. They're never going to have the same issues unless they like go through the exact same thing, I guess. But they'll never have the exact same issues, and nobody will ever have the exact same issues. But I feel like the issues that you go through, if you talk to somebody in your gender about it and you guys can relate and you can connect on that level, then you're going to be more comfortable with that person or people that look like that person.
Yeah, and in the same sense, and before I say this, by no means am I like gonna like laugh at suicide, because it's not anything to laugh about. But when it comes to men, when we talk about our feelings, I feel like for me, I have to, like, it kind of has to be funny to me. I have to, in some way, it kind of has to turn into like a joke, and it's just like, oh, I'm good. Like it's not even that bad, but in a sense, it's others that it is that bad, you know. And we have to realize that men, everybody, not even men, women, everybody handles like their mental health differently. For me, I joke about it. I go to the gym about it. I run about it. Like it's something about it that just I'm good. You know, I have to sweat it out. You know, but we have to realize, you know, before we even think about suicide, like there's something that before you even think about suicide, there's something that's in your mind that you can do before, you know, you have to question, okay, maybe I'm just not meant to be in this world.
Sometimes I feel like people don't think there's anything else that they can do. Like they don't feel accepted and their parents don't make them feel accepted. Or even if they seemingly live an extremely happy life, there is something that they're struggling with deep inside that nothing can fix. Nothing can fill that hole. Nothing can even put a Band-Aid over it. So that's like the only thing that they feel like they can do.
And it's like hard, because it's like,
yeah, it's so hard.
Because like, the question is like, how can you even have that, like, that notion in your mindset, like literally nothing will help when you haven't tried everything that there is.
I feel like it's like some people just think it's their last resort.
Yeah.
And also I wanted to piggyback. Dang, I forgot. I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
Come back to me.
Just to piggyback off what Jeremiah said, about having to make a joke about it, like a lot of, like, especially me, when talking about my mental health, like, I don't want people, like, and maybe this is something that I have to change, but I don't want people to, like, feel sorry about
Of course,
me.
yeah.
And I feel like that's the general conception around most men. Mm-hmm. We don't want people to feel sorry for us.
Or feel like a pity party almost.
Right. So like
I hate sympathy.
Right. Yeah. So when people when we're going through something, but we're around our friends, and they say, "Hey, you good?" Like of course we say, "Yeah, I'm good. I'm good."
It's just like quick,
because we don't want nobody to feel sympathy for us.
Mm-hmm.
I hate that too.
But it's almost like they don't question, like, "Are you sure?"
Yeah.
Like we'll say it again. Yes, I'm good. But
I feel like
you gotta ask me like 3 times before I say, "No, I'm not good."
Or even then, you still won't even say it.
Yeah. Because I feel like we have to do better than that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because if we keep saying, "Yeah, I'm good," and deep down we're not, like, what if the person we're talking to is also going through something?
Right.
We'll never know, because all we say is, "Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, I'm good." Like, and one thing I've learned is, if I'm not good, I gotta say, "No, I'm not good. I'm going through something."
Mm-hmm.
Like, what do you think about it? Because there's a good chance that either A, they're going through something as well, or they know somebody going through something, or they've had someone go through something, but they know how to get that person through it, especially if it's like a really close friend. So I guess I'll use the term gatekeeping. I guess we shouldn't be gatekeeping.
Our emotions, yeah.
We shouldn't be gatekeeping our emotions with people that we know.
Yeah.
We should actually be, like, expressing it with people we know.
Also, piggybacking off of the sympathy thing, I I hate when people feel sorry for me, or when I tell somebody something and they're like, "Oh, I'm so sorry that you went through that." Please do not say that to me.
Or even just feeling sorry for themselves. Like,
if I open up to you and you say, "Oh, I'm so sorry," I don't. That's not what I want to hear. I just want you to basically be quiet and let me talk. And
literally, just stop.
I just went through something recently, and I was so, and it happened at school. I was so emotional that day, and I was literally crying like the whole school day. And everybody was like, "Oh, are you okay?" And I just did not want anybody to talk to me. People were trying to give me a hug, trying to do this and that. I was like, "Please do not touch me."
Ooh,
I can't right now.
Yeah.
And I feel like, I don't know if that's bad or not, because
No, I get that.
I feel like if somebody is trying to help me or trying to make me feel better, I shouldn't be pushing them away from me and being like, "No, I'm good. Please stop."
No, I
But I'm hearing, I don't want to, not necessarily piggyback, but I want to transition into emotional intelligence, because what I'm hearing is like with sympathy and, you know, feeling sorry for yourself and others. It's not necessarily that I'm feeling that I don't want anybody to feel sorry for me. It's just that sometimes I'm not at the right point of emotional intelligence that I'm just going to say I'm okay, instead of saying, no, I'm not okay, but I'm figuring it out. I'm trying my best to, you know, talk about it to the right person, or talk about it to myself. But it in a sense, it depends on how emotionally intelligent you are in that moment, not how emotionally intelligent you are, period. That you just gonna say, okay, I'm not okay and I need help.
Yeah, and it's so hard to ask for help.
It is.
And when you do finally ask for help, and it's like, sometimes it's like, "Oh, you're good. It's fine. You don't need anything." Or they're like, "Oh, I'll see what I can do." And then there's really nothing that they feel like they can do. Mm-hmm. Like, I know I've been needing a new therapist for a minute, and I think my mom's trying to set something up, but I feel like it's not fast enough, because I can physically feel my mental health deteriorating, and I know I need help, but there's nothing that I can do right now. So I feel like I'm just sitting here idle.
Loading, yeah.
Literally loading. I feel like an NPC.
And that's the thing, like, go ahead.
And I feel like, because me and my mom were actually just talking about this, like, if, like, me, my mom, and my dad, we were all just talking about this, like, well, I think I brought it up, but my mom brought up a great point, like, maybe, like, we should, like, I brought up the idea that I should go to Community North if my mental health keeps getting worse. But my mom brought up the point that a lot of hospitals in America, they won't really admit you in for like mental health treatment unless you're currently going through it. So like, you could like have a mental breakdown tonight, go in the community on Tuesday morning, but they'll just dismiss you that same day because you're not currently going through anything during Tuesday morning, even though you just got done with a mental breakdown 2 days before.
Right.
So, again, to go off of emotional intelligence, I feel like when we're in the moment, like we get asked, "How you feeling? How you doing?" I think we want to like say an answer so fast. Mm-hmm. It's almost like, "Yeah, I'm good." It's the first thing that comes to mind because it's fast. You don't have to think about it. So but if you have to think, now you're like, "Oh shoot! Now I have to be prepared for a conversation about my mental health, and I only want a conversation about my mental health." So
it's like you can't feel any doubt, or you think people are gonna poke and like ask questions. Right. Like you just have to be like, "Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, I'm good."
Or think there's something wrong with you,
like why did that answer take so long?
Yeah.
You know.
And then the person is gonna be like, "Oh, they took a little bit long to answer that. Are they really good?" And then. Because when I'm like, I'm good, then they know I'm not good. Like,
or you can just say you're good in a way that it's just not. Like, I'm good. And
did you really mean that?
Yeah.
Look
Are you for real good?
Yeah.
No, okay, I got a question for you guys, because I'm the type of person to see, like, okay, so, like, my best friend, I love her, but she doesn't, like, and this is fine because it's just the way she was like raised and how she is. But when she gets in her emotions, she doesn't talk about it. She kind of just separates herself from everything, and that's fine because like I get that. I do that too.
Yeah, I do it a lot.
Yeah, and I understand.
And it's okay. There's nothing wrong with it.
Nothing wrong. If you need space, you need space, and there's nothing wrong with that. But sometimes I catch myself asking like, "How are you doing?" And she's like, "I'm fine," but I can just tell by like looking at her eyes. I'm like
she's not really
I'm
fine.
like, "Are you good?"
And
but
you don't want to like
push it.
Yeah.
And at the same time, like you said, we have to give people the right space for them to be comfortable enough to say, "I'm not okay."
Yeah, but like, what do you do in that situation? Because like you want to help them, but at the same time, you don't want to like treat them like they're a kid and be like, "Are you good? Are you good?" Because
I feel like the best thing to do is just say that you're there.
Yeah.
Say that I'm here for you if you want to talk about anything.
Yeah.
And I respect if you don't. But I know for me personally, whenever like if I see something or something upsets me, I just stop talking. Like I'm just completely silent and I sit there just staring at something. And then if somebody starts trying to ask me if I'm okay, then I just completely ignore them. I completely shut up.
Next, I'm like, well, if I say something,
because then that's when I start crying.
Yeah,
it's just like that emotional just craziness. It's like, oh, please don't say anything to me. I'm not good.
Yeah, and I hate when like I cry about something and then somebody calls me a crybaby for it.
See, that would make me mad.
I'm like, oh, okay, well, that's how my emotions come out. Like if I'm mad, I cry. If I'm sad, I cry.
I'm sorry, I don't keep my emotions bottled up.
But then again, I do. I do. That's the problem. And like I feel like last week when I was going through that thing at school, that's like the only time people were like, oh, she cries so much. And I feel like nobody really knew that I was that emotional of a person because I'm the funny one in like most of my friend groups. Like I feel like I have to keep the peace by being funny, and I can't really show any other type of emotions, or else they're gonna look at me like, "Oh, why are you acting like that?" Or can you stop doing that? Like, so I just feel like I can't really be that to some of my friends. But then I have some friends who will just sit there and listen to me. They know that they know I cry a lot, and they're like there for me. But also I feel like they're there for me sometimes, but not when I like truly need somebody. And then in those instances, like the only person I can go to is like my mom or my brother. And right now my brother's mad at me because I did kind of make I kind of let something slide that I probably should not have let slide. And I keep on thinking about it over and over, and I'm like, I should not have let that slide.
Going back to your question, Anel, about how do you like handle that when somebody when you continue to ask somebody it's okay, because like you said, what did you say?
She said her friend like just shuts down and doesn't really. Yeah. She like separates herself from the problem.
Like, because it's different when you can say like, I'm here for you if you need me, or if you want to. Because at the same time, to another person that could be comforting, but to another person that could be kind of be like a gaslight. Like, I'm fine. Like, why are you even like going? Yeah. Like, why are you going there?
I get that.
So it's like, in a sense, you kind of have to know that person enough to handle that situation in the correct manner. So
determine what they want you to say. Because I feel like the only thing you can really do is just try your best to support them. And if they genuinely just don't want to talk about it, then you gotta respect
let it go.
It. You can't keep trying to push them to talk about something they don't want to talk about. But also some people, they want you to keep asking, like they want you to keep checking on them, making sure they're okay, because I feel like that's the way that they feel like people care.
Yeah,
it's almost like trying to make sure your person's okay, while making sure you don't overstep into the boundary.
Right. Yeah. It's hard because for some people, like they'll show the signals, but at the same time, the person that really wants to give the help, they don't know because they don't know the signals that you're giving off. So it's like, I don't know if I should help you because you're telling me you're okay, you don't want to talk, but at the same time you're giving me signals. So it's like it's mixed. And I'm like, I I don't know what to do here.
I don't know what you want from me.
It's,
So I feel like
yeah.
the right thing to do in that scenario is, okay, you're giving off signs, you're giving off signals that you're not okay,
Right.
and that you're hurting in some way, shape, or form, but you don't want immediate help. Like you don't want you don't want immediate help, or you don't want to say that you need help. So what I'm going to do as a friend is I'm going to just keep checking in, because eventually that person's going to tell you. Because eventually they're going to get tired of you just keep going up, especially if they're like your friend. They're eventually going to get tired of you asking them if they're okay.
Exactly.
Like,
that's
hey, how are you feeling today?
Right.
You know,
That's how I was. That's how I was with my mental health and my friend. I kept saying I was okay. I knew that I was not, but my friend kept saying, friend kept asking, so I just went ahead and told him. And now that's off my chest.
Yeah.
So I feel like the way, and I don't know how everyone else operates. I'm just guessing. I'm just assuming. But I think the way most people operate is, if my friend keeps like almost begging me to tell him what's really going on with me, I'm eventually gonna tell him. Maybe not like the first time, maybe not the second time, maybe not the 10th time, but on like the 15th time he tells me like the same week, I'm gonna eventually tell him.
Yeah, and at the same time, you mentioned immediate help, or I think you said immediate.
Yeah.
But at the same time, immediate could turn into repetitive, and that can get kind of like irritating, because it's like, I'm good and I'm glad that thank you for checking on me, but
can you
when
stop?
it gets repetitive, it's like, okay, I'm good. Like, thank you. But for me, when it gets repetitive, it's like, thank you. I appreciate your help and you wanted to be there for me, but it's like I'm handling it the way I need to handle it.
Yeah, like I'm good. Please leave me alone.
Right. Yeah.
I know. I have another example that I can use. Like the person that I'm talking to, he was like. So basically, he was like trying to get me to open up more about like the stuff that I went through, and he like I was like, okay, I'll tell you eventually, and then like he asked me about it again like the next week, and then I didn't tell him then either, but then I just told him like one random night, because like sometimes I get like. Sometimes I like think about it, and then it like really bothers me, and then I like basically have a panic attack over it. But so that happened, and then so I told him then, and then he was able to like comfort me, I guess, and make me feel better. But then again, I like didn't want to tell him really, but I felt like. Sometimes I feel like that's like the only way that they'll stop asking you is if you just go ahead and tell them. And I don't really like to be pressured into telling.
I don't like to be pressured at all.
Yeah, I don't
especially when it comes to my mental health, because it's like if you're pressuring me to, I'm just gonna isolate myself away from you, because it's like either way it goes, I'm not telling you. It's not because I don't feel like I can't tell you. It's so I have to get to a point of vulnerability that I don't feel safe around you yet.
Yeah.
But then again, I feel like once I did tell him that, I felt so much better. Like, I don't know. I like felt better because I was able to talk about it, and I haven't really had anyone to talk to about it in a while, because I haven't had a therapist in a while, and I don't like having the conversation with my mom because it kind of upsets her, and I don't want to be sitting there like having to make my mom feel better when I'm the one that needed help.
Yeah,
that's so real.
Okay, so I kind of want to segue this to the next question. So I play football, and I know at least on our team, that gives me a wider pool of people that I can trust, kind of, to open up and talk about things.
Yeah, because I know football, like a football team is like a big family.
Big time.
Yeah. Especially depending on the school you go to. Like at Cathedral, all we pride ourselves as being a huge family and a band of brothers.
Yeah.
So I feel like I can trust all 100 guys on that team.
No matter, even if they tell each
Freshmen,
other,
sophomore.
like, hey,
I don't like. I feel like because one, we're gonna keep it real with each other. Two, we're gonna have a support for each other. But I just want to know, based on what you guys think, do you guys think being on any sports team gives people like a bigger pool of people to trust?
Yeah.
Being on a sports team.
For sure. For me, I'm on track and cross. I don't recommend. I'm just kidding. No, but
No, you can say.
dude. But I think it does. It depends what team you're on. I totally get like the family thing. And for me, when I think I was younger, I definitely resonated to that because I think the whole term like exercising and stuff does help mental health to an extent. But and stuff like that. And I think you can come to them with outside factors and stuff like that if you choose to. But I also think, and this is my personal experience, like sometimes the team is like probably the thing that's like making your mental health worse. Don't tell anybody I said that, but like sometimes it can be. And I know for my team, we got, you guys know what cliques are, right?
Yes.
Okay, we definitely got cliques on the team, and the coaches are kind of like, let's just say that they have very much favoritism towards different people. So it's hard to have
a
like
huge issue.
Yeah, it's hard to have like core relationships when you have that with your coaches and your teammates, and everyone is kind of just like dogging on each other and on themselves and stuff like that. So it's like, okay, so we have no aspect of leadership, no aspect of family, no aspect of community. You guys have community with the people that you like, but even then you don't even like each other. So it's like, do you? So like for my team, I feel like there's not really that, but for a lot of other teams, most teams, it's a sense of community. So I think sports can be, but also just like sometimes it's not. And I've heard a lot of stories where it's like, oh, like your sport affected your mental health for the worse. Like, okay. But yeah, I think it can, but at the same time, it depends just like where you're at and stuff.
I want to add on to that because I remember I was trying out for the volleyball team in 8th grade, I believe. Yeah, I was in 8th grade. And I messed up the tryouts because I hurt my neck and I really couldn't try out for real. I probably would have made the team if I didn't hurt my neck. Let me just say that. Anyway, but
just let it be known.
But just let it be known right now. I probably would have made the team if I didn't hurt myself. But I also feel like the girls on the volleyball team were like so mean and toxic. Yeah. And I don't know if that's like a girl thing because a lot of girls are so
catty, dude.
I just don't understand it.
I don't either.
And I don't understand like the toxic energy of being around too many females sometimes. Like don't get me wrong, I have a big group of female friends and none of them really act like that. But when I was around those volleyball girls, it felt like their energy was so fake. Right. Like they were hyping everybody up, but they didn't really mean it. And I was just like,
I have a whole story, dude.
And I was just like, I don't even want to be on the team anymore. I was like, never mind, bro. Let me go home. And I'm not currently on like a sports team or anything, but I did play soccer when I was younger, and I definitely did feel like very connected with my teammates. And I was like 7, but I felt like connected with them, and we never really did anything big. Like all we did was get participation medals. But
listen, if you didn't play soccer at a young age,
were you really living for real?
Was you really like playing sports for real? Like, not even soccer, but like some type of like flag football or like something sports related.
Some like baseball.
And I thought I wanted to play basketball when I was
No, yeah, I definitely get that.
I started this like basketball team thingy that was at my school. It wasn't really a team. It was literally an elementary school thing. Like it was like a club after school. And I thought I wanted to play basketball, but I was terrible, guys. I don't know who told me I was good. And then my mom, she went
I'm sorry.
I was so bad. My mom went to the thing after school. She was cheering for me so hard. She was recording on her phone like this. I was like, bro, can you delete that?
Yeah.
Can you delete that, please?
I get that.
And I looked so goofy because I had on like this big old oversized t-shirt. That was my brother's probably. And then my brother's basketball shirt.
Okay. Wait, to go off of what you said, I have a story. So we had to run 3 miles in track for a 5K during every meet. And let me tell you something. This meet, it was like 105 degrees. It was hot. It was hot.
Oh yeah, I remember.
It was bad. My freshman year, I ran, and apparently I didn't eat enough that day because, let me tell you something, not even halfway, I faint to the ground. I literally fall, and I like my eyes black out and everything. All these moms come rushing to like this little hill and are like, "Anil, are you okay? Are you okay?" And mind you, it's happened before, and now I got it figured out. Like, it's just because I have low iron and stuff like that. But like, whatever. But but I like fell and stuff like that, and it was so embarrassing because I had to be like taken away on this like gator cart, and I had like this like cup of electrolytes because my blood sugar was low or something. And
worst drink ever.
Oh, it's so nasty. I was like, oh, this looks good. It was
Pedialyte.
So bad. But I got taken away on the gator, and my teammates were like, apparently they were like, to my face, they're like, "Oh, are you okay?" And I thought they cared, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm good. Like, I'm good now," and stuff like that. And I just went home and whatever. But fast forward like a year, my best friend's mom was like talking about at the same meet how like they figured out I like fainted and stuff, and like they heard some of my teammates were like, oh, like this one girl in particular, we're gonna call her Ellie. She was like, oh, she does this all the time. Don't worry about it. She always faints and stuff like that. And mind you, it was my first time. I don't know what she was talking about. I threw up one time before, and
so
it was
she was trying to make you look like.
She was trying to make me look bad. I got beef
like
with
you
her.
were being dramatic.
Yes, and I don't know why. And
like you fainted on purpose.
Yeah, like I fainted on purpose in front of all these people out of me for just for a little show, just for a little show, just for a little
fun.
Just for a little.
just for a little halftime show. You know what I'm saying?
I didn't have to run the rest of the miles. I would do that.
Yeah, I would definitely.
It made me so mad because it's like, how are you gonna be like this to my face and then say that behind my back and say like, oh, she does this all the time. I threw up one time during a workout when nobody was there, so she needs to chill.
The fake energy.
And then at semi-state, this girl, another girl from a different team, which I'm proud of her and everything. She helped, like she fainted, and Ellie literally like walked over to help like lift her up and everything, and like she got recognized for it. Like she was put in like Indy Star for it and stuff like that, and like I know. I'm happy for her in the sense of like team.
I'm not happy for her.
In the sense
I'm
of
thinking like you fake and
I know.
you put it in the store.
As a teammate, I'm like, okay, I'm proud of you, but like, why couldn't you give that same energy to your teammates? I'm not even saying like you needed to help me. I'm just saying, why did you say this about me? But literally help a girl because all the adults were there and it made you look good. And they literally drag it out, and like it was 3 years ago. They still talk about it. Like, let it go. I'm sorry.
And
it just made me mad.
I want to touch on what you just said, Anil, and what you just said also about why people are even helping you. What do they do it for? Are they doing it just because they want to help you?
Because they want to help,
or are they doing it for like publicity?
Or
are you getting something out of it? And that translates a lot to a person's mental health, because it's like maybe even if I do tell you what's wrong with me, like if you do help me and you go around school saying I helped him, or I'm gonna just say in the instance he helped me stop myself from killing myself, like really? And now you're on Indy Star for it.
Right. No, she was on so many newspapers for it. She got recognized, and like she went to this like little red carpet thing for it, and I was like, are you serious? Like, are you serious? I was so mad, not because she like got recognized for it, but because she
of
couldn't.
How she acted towards you.
Yeah, because she couldn't like give the same energy towards her team, her actual team that she committed to, and like who everyone saw her as a leader, but behind everybody's back she's fake and she's kind of mean, and she gets injured a lot, which is not a problem, and she like cries a lot about it, which I would always like sympathize with that, because it's like getting injured doing a sport that you love and you can't really do anymore. Like that's got to be like kind of a bummer.
Kind of hard.
Yeah, it's hard, and I would never like make fun of her for it. And every time she like cried about it, I'd be like, hey, are you okay? And she'd be like, yeah. And it just makes me mad, because it's like, okay, like I'm not saying you need to help me out, but notice how I didn't do that to you. Like, I'm sorry. It just made me mad. But it's okay, because she's graduating this year, so it's fine.
I know that this might be like a little bit like over the top, but was the girl white?
Yeah.
Was she white?
That may be part of the like that may be part of why she did it.
Wait, the girl that she helped was white and she's white?
Yes, and
That's probably the problem.
really.
No, probably too, and that is the problem.
Definitely the problem.
That's the problem, bro.
I know
What
a lot
people
of...
tend to do is they tend to, I'm not every white person's like this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Every white person's like
to clarify, not every white person is like this.
What a lot of white people tend to do is they tend to paint themselves like the good guy.
Like
Yeah.
here, bro.
Especially like when a black person does something bad, or like when a black person like crashes out or something, and they see that, they will go up to the black person and they will help them.
Yeah.
They would help them.
I get
But
that.
then, instead of just going on about their day, they would post on Snapchat or Instagram or go to the
Mm-hmm.
indie store or Wish TV, and they would say, "Oh, I just helped this black person."
No, yeah, that's crazy.
But also, sometimes white people don't want to help black people.
Yeah.
Like, they're like, oh, look at her being dramatic.
No, yeah. And it was more than one person that was like, oh, she does that a lot. It was her and her team, like her friend too. And nobody else did that. And like it affected my mental health because it went on for the rest of the season of where like I was just like not doing well in my sport. So then like everybody was not really helping. And I'm not saying I expect you to help, but as like a teammate or like a coach or something, you're there to literally help me get better. You know what I'm saying? So the fact that you were like belittling me for like being sick or whatever is kind of like annoying because it's like, okay, you're 45 and I'm 15 and you're yelling at me and you're getting mad at me and ignoring me. Like, that's embarrassing on your part. Anyways, that's all I have to say.
I know I'm not the only one to think this, but the way I view things, when someone helps you, like especially on a sports team, and like someone tries to help you, why do I always feel like that person's only doing that to make themselves look good?
Especially on the team,
And in reality, they really just don't care.
They're like, and then, or they like they help you and then
Try to get cool points.
Yeah.
trying to get points for helping you. Like, no, just don't even worry about it.
Especially trying to like
And
impress a coach and
When
stuff.
somebody,
Like, dog.
I hate when somebody helps you and then they're like, oh, you remember when I did this for you? And then they try to like get something from you for that.
Yeah.
Like, I remember my grandma. Oh my God, literally my grandma. I left my computer at my dad's house and I needed it for school, and I didn't even ask her to bring it, but she brought it for me, and she was like, do you know how long it took me to get here? Like, trying to make me feel bad because she did something for me that I did not ask her to do. I said I would be fine until I went back over there, and she still, no, I'll bring it since you need it so bad. But I
Never mind. Don't bother.
and then I was like, oh yeah, thank you so much, because that's my elder, so I have to be respectful.
Yeah.
And I can't be like, oh, well, I never asked you to bring it anyway, but because that's rude, especially to my grandma. But I was like, I never asked you to do that, and I'm never asking you for nothing ever again.
Yeah, that's crazy. No, it just made me mad because like everyone thinks she's really nice, like all the coaches and everything, but she's also been like the person that's like been body shaming people on the team and saying so much stuff about like different girls and like saying how these girls are like, I'm not gonna say it on here, but like she'll just like call these girls like just like words, and I'm like, oh, like aren't you supposed to be represented as a leader? And didn't you get like mental attitude award 3 times? Like, where's the mental attitude at?
I remember my brother's football team. They had their quarterback win I think it was some sportsmanship or some mental attitude award, but he literally was the total opposite of a leader.
Yeah.
It was all about himself. And like a lot of people, it's all about themselves. Me. Like that me, and not actually trying to uplift people. So I just wanted to put that out there because you said that.
No, yeah.
Okay, here we go. Real talk show. Real talk, it's the real talk show. Hey.
This is Real Talk. No strings attached. Be sure to like and subscribe to this podcast. And be sure to check out other great podcasts on the All Indiana Podcast Network. Online now at allindianapodcastnetwork.com.